Hello, everybody.
Hello.
So, I invited David to talk with us about the yoga path. I know this subject has been discussed a lot by the yoga community, but I think to hear David is a really profound and great experience, because if you are close to him, you can not just understand but feel why many people consider David as a real yoga. So, David, to start briefly, what is yoga path?
Well, it's a way of life, a lifestyle that involves responsibility for your health, for what you do, your actions, your contributions to humanity. So it involves doing certain things every day. There's a practice, there's a study of it. So it becomes, again, considered like an education where you're not only learning something and growing with it, but there's something to do about it every day in the way of practicing certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So it's part of your everyday. And in my life, it was years of study and research, what started with my travels, but then it became more condensed into a practical side that I could do every morning and then do normal things in the world.
Mm-hmm.
But the daily tune-up of yoga is what kind of empowered and centered me and made it capable to do the things I have done, which include building a center in Thailand and having one in the Philippines and setting up a center in Canada before that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you are in this path many years, many decades, right? Like over 50 years. So it's a kind of a journey and with different phases. And but what you were saying, like we can consider yoga is a lifestyle, right? So through this, we consider yoga path is an individual path, right?
Mm, yeah, sure.
But
It,
could it influence the collective? And if yes, how it influence?
well, in the same way that I am influencing the collective, that
Mm-hmm.
I teach people what I have learned. I teach people how to become healthy, how to maintain peak performance health, and how to maintain a higher state of consciousness, and how to go beyond the consciousness that we have in the material world into these higher states that are kind of in the eternal plane of our existence, which is really refreshing and a complement to being human, because most humans have some kind of a spiritual curiosity, if nothing else. Or where do we go when we die?
Mm-hmm. Or they are
And yoga.
scared about
Yeah,
this.
well, most people are scared because they
Yeah.
don't know, and we're scared of the unknown. So if you have yogic experience of slowing down your breath and slowing down your heart and your whole metabolism, and then your consciousness can go to these other experiences that are beyond the body, it makes you realize that you are not the body, that your consciousness is an eternal part of the universe. And you know that when you're in these states of consciousness. There's a feeling and a certainty of course, we are eternal spiritual beings. But we completely get disconnected and detached from that when we're struggling in the world to survive, or whatever we're doing.
Yeah, you are saying these things and sounds easy, but actually, when we are starting this process, many people can have, especially in the beginning or maybe after, but difficulty to understand this, like beyond the body. So, if I start the yoga path, is not obvious or
No,
fast this, and how we can.
this is an end result or the goal of yoga. This is the achievement and accomplishment of yoga. You don't start with the goal. You have to
Yeah.
work at, practice, study, to get to this place. So, you know, for me, after 50 years, yeah, I mean, it didn't take me 50 years. I had some pretty peak and out of the body experiences in the first couple of years when I was living in India, which showed me a whole different perspective on living in this universe, not just in this world, but then it applied to this world. But it did throw me off from coming back to society and getting a normal job. I just had no interest in doing that. I was really involved in keeping these higher experiences, and jobs and working in the world would interfere with that. So I didn't work or do anything for years. I just practiced yoga, studied, and did mandalas and went deeper and deeper into the meditational states, which few people ever do that now.
Yeah.
Especially now we have fast yoga certification available, and once people have a certificate, they think they know yoga. And they go around teaching postures, which they do know, maybe they're good at teaching them. But the goals of yoga, of going beyond this world into these higher realms and realizing our eternal nature, isn't what people go to or go for. It's too far off and too much work.
Yeah, and the social media also is distorting many things, because now many people are becoming yogi through the technology, you know, like by these online classes or online TTC, that it's not a critical in the negative way, but I'm trying to say, like, how is the impact of this social media and many pictures and likes and sharings and show the world I am yogi, I am zen, how in the impact this in the essential of yoga. Yeah, like especially you that learned yoga 50 years ago, and I'm totally sure you learned it through a traditional source, and now it's so rare we found places with this traditional energy field, you know, environment.
Yeah, agreed. So we're seeing a modernized version, a westernized version of yoga that doesn't include the goal, which is the original purpose. And it's become easy so that everyone can do yoga, but it's not everyone who can succeed with yoga. So, but people can become healthier and can stretch and do postures. It's good for relieving tension. I mean, the de-stressing factor is one of the biggest gifts to a very stressed out society, a whole civilization. It's not just one society. The whole planet is under stress, especially these days. So for that, it's good, but it doesn't necessarily lead you on to the next phase of going beyond this world. And again, how many people are interested in going beyond this world? Now, if you look around on this island, the yoga island, with all kinds of spiritual techniques, you have ayahuasca ceremonies and these kind of things, which are opening the mind to something that is beyond. So people are looking for something that takes them beyond. They want to have a higher state of consciousness, which is happy and blissful, and they want to be healthy also. So yoga provides all of this if people would persevere with yoga to get to these higher states. I mean, you're using yogic techniques to produce brain chemistry that is the equivalent and is in fact DMT, which is a psychedelic substance that is made in your brain. The yogic way of producing it requires effort, breathing techniques and postures and the right diet and daily practice, things like that. So that's more work than just going to a ceremony and having a high experience.
Yeah, but I think
but you get to maintain that high experience and you stay at a pretty cool level of consciousness. If you're not tripping around and the world's not dissolving around you, at least you're in a pretty happy place and you're seeing the beauty of everything everywhere. And yoga allows you to maintain that kind of a state of consciousness.
Yeah, but I think the difference between go to the ceremony and practice yoga is go to the ceremony something instantaneously, as the society it is. So you go, you use the medicine or something like this, and in few hours you're gonna have an experience that will finish when the effect
wears off.
Gone. But the practice of yoga, we need to have a kind of discipline, a kind of focus. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. Sometimes some people can have more difficult to feel this or that. So I think it's the big difference. And but to close our talking, because we need to go soon, I just want to bring to ask you something about that our system as a society. How do you think the capitalism system has been influencing and distorting the yoga? Like, because, for example, I have realized that how yoga is a product.
Yeah, exactly. In India, when I learned yoga, it was still a spiritual science. It was not something you learned and you went around then getting a job as a yoga teacher. So I learned from Swami Gitananda, who taught for free. I only paid for my stay, my room and my board and things at the ashram. He taught for free because that is the tradition. So yoga teachers don't teach for free. It becomes a job, and that's the capitalist system that has made a job out of it. And okay, it's a good job. You can make a lot of money teaching yoga.
Yeah.
And then you got the Yoga Alliance that has made that the definition of yoga is a yoga teacher does these things, does it well, gets paid well, and just you become part of the economic system. So you're outside of the spiritual system, which is to awaken people, to uplift people, to bring them into a spiritual connection to the universe. Instead, you're down at the material level of, you got a good job, you're teaching people to de-stress and teaching them to safely do postures. And that's it. You know, you become a yoga teacher, and that's it. What else? I'm already a teacher, so is there something else? And a lot of the people I teach, have been teachers. I've done teacher training, a few of them, and they're looking for, okay, well, there is something else. We know what it is, but where do we find it? So they come here because they can find it here, and it's the ongoing education.
Yeah.
Everything about body, mind, consciousness, and beyond.
Yeah, because this you call your teachings and all the things that you teach, for people, whole educational system.
Yeah. And I've done 25 years of conventional teachers training. I just don't call it that anymore. Now it's a master's program. You want to master yourself. That's essentially, if you master yourself, you don't need to master anything else or anyone else. You've got it made in the universe eternally, and that's yoga.
What the sutras teach us, the master is not the first level, the first phase, but it's our goal in the yoga path.
Yeah.
So
even if it takes a while, you're progressing, and all the time you're progressing, you're getting to a better state, and better state physically, a better state mentally, getting higher, deeper understanding, and your understanding of the universe is expanding, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's a path of discovery.
Super amazing path. All right.
Okay, we got to go on to our next class.
Yeah.
Online. See you guys. Thanks for listening.